Laura was a creature of habit. Every day after work, she would spend a few hours in her favorite café. With a cup of cappuccino and her notebook, the place had become her personal sanctuary, a space where she could organize her thoughts and find inspiration. That afternoon, everything seemed as usual. The sound of coffee machines, the murmur of conversations, and the familiar aroma of freshly brewed beans. But something felt different. While reading a book, Laura sensed a growing discomfort, as if someone were watching her. When she looked up, she saw a man sitting in the farthest corner of the cafe. His face was unremarkable, but his gaze was different. Steady, intense, almost penetrating. Laura tried to ignore him, but every time she glanced up, he was still there, staring. It didn't seem like mere curiosity. There was something deliberate about the way he looked at her. A chill ran down her spine, but she decided not to dwell on it. When she finally mustered the courage to meet his gaze, he was gone. His table was empty, except for a small folded piece of paper. Laura hesitated but couldn't resist her curiosity. She picked up the note and read the words written in elegant handwriting, "I see you too." Her body tensed. What did it mean? Why had he left it there? You want to know where this story is going, don't you? Then before we continue, if you want to help our channel keep bringing amazing stories, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed it, turn on notifications to find out when new videos are posted. Laura slipped the note into her bag and decided not to return to that cafe for a while. However, the unease lingered. That night in her apartment, she felt restless. Her thoughts kept circling back to the man and the note. While trying to distract herself by organizing her bookshelf, she found something strange, a bookmark she didn't remember placing there. Upon closer inspection, she noticed it had the same phrase from the note, "I see you too." Fear began to creep in. The next day, Laura told her friend Clara what had happened. "It's just a coincidence, Laura. You're overthinking this," Clara said, trying to brush it off. But Laura knew it wasn't just a coincidence. She could feel something was out of place. Over the following days, she noticed small changes in her surroundings. Objects moved slightly out of place, a constant feeling of being watched, and mysterious messages appearing on her phone only to vanish before she could read them. Determined to find answers, Laura returned to the cafe. She sat at the same table, hoping to encounter the man again. Hours passed, but he didn't appear. She decided to ask the barista if he knew anything about the man. "Oh yeah, he comes here sometimes. Always sits in that corner but doesn't talk much," he said. Laura asked the barista to let her know if the man returned, but this only deepened her curiosity. That night, when Laura returned home, she found her apartment door slightly ajar. Her heart raced as she cautiously stepped inside. Everything seemed in order except for one unsettling detail. On her desk was another note. "Do you still want to find me?" This time, fear gave way to paranoia. She called Clara, who insisted she go to the police, but Laura hesitated. Something inside her wanted to know more, wanted to understand who this man was and what he wanted. 2 days later, Laura received an anonymous message on her phone with an address and a single word, "Come." Against her better judgment, she decided to go. The address led her to an old library, its wooden doors worn and its windows clouded with dust. Inside, the air was heavy and the silence was unsettling. In the center of the main hall, a single table was illuminated by a dim lamp. On it lay another note, "Welcome to the game." Laura tried to stay calm, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. "What do you want from me?" she shouted, but no one answered. Then she saw a shadow at the end of the hall. It was the man standing still, watching her. A chill ran down her spine as he took a step forward. "You've made it this far," he said in a low, deep voice. "But the real question is, are you ready to continue?" Before she could respond, he disappeared into the darkness. When Laura tried to follow him, she found only a book on the table, open to a page that read, "Curiosity can be a path of no return." From that moment, Laura realized she was trapped in something far bigger than she could comprehend. In the weeks that followed, her life was consumed by paranoia. She began dreaming of the man, always standing in a corner, silently watching her. In every dream, he left her notes with cryptic messages. "You opened the door, the game has just begun." When she woke up, she found those same notes on her bedside table, as if someone had left them while she slept. Determined to confront him, Laura returned to the library one final time. This time, the atmosphere was different. The lights flickered, and strange sounds echoed through the halls. In the center of the room, the man was waiting for her, his gaze as intense as ever. "You've crossed the line," he said. "Now, there's no turning back." Before she could reply, the lights went out, and the silence consumed the room. When they came back on, Laura was alone, but the book on the table now had a phrase engraved on its cover: "Some mysteries should never be solved." From that day on, Laura was never seen again. Friends and family found only one final note in her apartment, with the same words that had started it all: "I see you too." Want to know more about this story and many others we still have to share? Then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every day, a new story comes straight from our mysterious archive, filled with tales and accounts we've gathered from various sources. Cases with stories that will give you chills. Also, don't forget to share this video with that friend of yours who loves a good mystery.